Southern Exposure Homes. We're a micro builder in the DC area, and we specialize in houses like this. Even though this is our first one, but we're convinced we'll never build any other kind of house. Zavos is our architect partner, and IntelliStructures is the company that put up all the framing and the SIPs. We're part of the Arlington Green Home Choice Program. It's just their own initiative to build green homes. And our goal is to build the most efficient home in Northern Virginia. Today I want to cover 3 things. So why would a builder in the right mind do something like this? Secondly, how do we actually build a passive house? And then what does it all mean for the person who eventually lives here? After all the science and the physics. This is what you usually don't want to see. Conventional code-approved minimum insulation level, it's just not enough to keep the house warm and comfortable. Usually you have leaky construction, and what that means is more heat loss. And it also, more importantly, air infiltration through the cracks, the window joints, different things that will eventually get moldy, and what happens is indoor air quality deteriorates because of that. So what we're trying to do, it's different from that. Leaky ductwork. Typically, ductwork is put in uninsulated areas, and also they're leaky, so decreases the efficiency of your equipment. So you have to run it more often than you actually need to. And because of all that, typical house has an oversized HVAC system, and that's just wasteful. And this is what this is data from Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. I'm sure some of you have seen this one. If you look at this, heating is 29% of your energy bill. The annual energy bill is $2,200, and then cooling is 70%. If you add those two together, that's 46%. That's a lot of your energy bill. In a passive house, we can do this. The passive house, when you get it right, you can actually decrease your heating and cooling down to 10% of a conventional house of the same size. So now what we have is we have the heating and cooling together about 4.6%. And what is all this? This is money you save. And this can be done. It's not that difficult, but it just takes a little thought and a little more effort. Now, why would we want to do something like this? Because really, the way to do this, to decrease your energy costs in terms of heating and cooling, what you're doing is you're building a very robust thermal envelope to minimize your needs for heating and cooling. It's not apparent on the surface, so a buyer will come and they don't really see it. They'll probably experience it by living here, but they won't really see it. The reason we do it, there's several. We have a desire to build a better home, because I think builders like us, we really need to have a longer view of the houses we build. Not only do they need to last a long time, the house being on the lot for a long time is going to have a huge impact. And so, we need to think about that as well. And also, as the green building movement matures, people are going to want more than just finishes and materials. They want efficiency, they want indoor air quality, things like that really matter. So I think there will be demand for super insulated homes. And then passive house is a performance-based standard. What it is there are a few energy measures that you need to hit. If you can hit those numbers, they don't care about what you use to build a house with. That's why you'll see a lot of houses that are built. They might use double-stack walls, they might use SIP panels, they may use ICFs to build houses. It doesn't matter as you hit the numbers, as long as it performs. What that means to us is you have design flexibility. You can have any house any style you want, as long as you follow a few guidelines. You know, orientation obviously has to be right. Insulation level has to be right to that climate. Air tightness standard is critical. Those things, but you know, you can do anything you want. If you look over here, this is the article that came out in the Capital File magazine. This is the first passive house in the region, which is in Bethesda, Maryland. It's a 4 square. So stylistically, it's very different from this one. But you know, it can be done. So, and then we find it attractive also because there are many different levels of entry. You can have different income levels. You know, I've seen a $2.9 million passive house in California. And then we have those guys in DC, the Habitat guys, they're building their low-income housing using passive house standard. So, you know, that's attractive to us. And also this is the most important to us because why consume so much more? Because why would you run your HVAC system more than you need to compensate for sort of an inadequate thermal envelope, when you can have a robust thermal envelope that allows you to only use what you need. So to us, that's very important. So how do you actually build a passive house? There are a few important things. First, you need to have robust insulation. This entire home is built with SIP panels, well, except the foundation walls, but the above grade is all SIP panels. That is a sample right there. Basically, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but basically, in the middle, this is neopor foam, EPS foam, which has an R value of about 4.69 per inch. And then you have it sandwiched between 2 OSBs, and you know, you build with this. Our walls have R value of close to 40 because we also added 2 inches of EPS on the outside because part of it is to break the thermal bridge, because in between each panels you have lumber, and that causes the thermal bridge. So to negate that, we added foam on the outside.
And they make other panels that don't have the lumber for the connection pieces. It just depends on which ones you go for.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, you see this channel here? This is for electrical. So, you know, you can get ones that don't have these channels. Well, we actually got, for the walls, we got ones with these channels because sometimes you just kind of, it's more convenient. But what we'll do is whatever holes that we don't use, we're going to fill them up with foam.
So what happened here? I was curious why you were doing an additional frame wall for your plumbing.
Right, because we didn't want to cut into the SIPs.
Yeah.
And also, this allows us to insulate it even more. So this wall will be a very good, you know, even better than this regular.
So you do want to, you're still going to insulate it. That's
exactly,
right.
exactly. I mean, there's a hole, might as well. There's a cavity, you know. We have R40 on the walls, and we will have R60 on the roof because it's a 12-inch panel.
Really big SIP panel.
Right. And then another important aspect of passive house is to have continuous insulation. And part of that is to have insulation under the slab. Under the slab, as I'll show you later, you can't see it now, but there's concrete. Underneath the concrete, there are 6 inches of foam. We've covered it up and actually built it, you know, all together. It's kind of like a ship almost. And we even we have to have a sump pump and sewer ejection pump. And what we did was, we don't want that area to be a weak point. So we actually built a box, a 6-inch, you know, all around with foam, and then set those things in. That way it's completely continuous. So. Next is airtight construction. This is another aspect of how you make your thermal envelope strong. Is all the penetrations, you have to seal them properly. What we did was we used, these are all German materials. I don't know why German engineering, you know, they just know how to do these things. But we use a big gasket, and then we have this, it's called Tescom number 1. It's a tape that you use to seal things like this. We have SIP tapes. It's over there, I'll show you in a little bit. It's a vapor open tape that we are taping all the joints in the SIPs. Some of them have already been taped, but not everything has been done yet.
Mind if I pass them around?
Sure,
Or
go ahead.
so
Go ahead
this
and pass
is,
them around.
Is this the blue one?
That's the one, well, you can use that for that too. Those two are essentially the same, except one has a backer paper, but the other one doesn't.
Yes.
They're about 20 cents a linear foot. But it really does a great job. The adhesion is amazing. And also it's vapor open. So in case if you get any vapor trapped in between the panels, there's a place to get out. So, now we have windows. These are also from Germany. If you look at that over there, it's triple pane windows, and they were manufactured actually in an argon chamber. So what it is they actually didn't inject them. They were manufactured inside a chamber filled with argon, so there's no possibility of leakage through those fill holes. And also there's three different seals here. Let me just operate this one so you can see. Open it, you can see there's one layer of seal here, and here's another one, and a third one. And then also it has, on this window, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places that locks it. So that means you have an extremely airtight window when you close it.
You can see here, you guys, you see these little rubber pieces? These are the brakes so that the plastic does not carry all the way through, which keeps the conduction.
Exactly.
So it's a little thermal brake all the way through in addition to the airtight.
Right. And also they use, these are Swiss spacers. They're warm edge spacers so that it doesn't, there's no thermal bridging or anything like that. And another cool feature of these windows is this. If you don't want to open it all the way, just go like that for ventilation.
So what's the U factor on these?
The U factor is 0.1. Solar heat gain is about 0.5, a little, I think 0.58 or something. So
what would the R value be, you guys? 1 divided by 0.1? I think that's about a 10, right?
It's like R9.
Better than most walls end up being.
Yes. That's the amazing part about these windows. Actually, they actually perform better than walls. If you think about it, walls you're still losing heat, maybe slowly. But on a sunny day, they actually gain heat for you. So, but of course, summertime we need to cover these. What we'll do is we'll put external shades on the outside. Once it's inside, you can't do anything about it. To install these windows, we use this tape, which I have a roll here. This is made by a company called Tremco. It's owned by Americans now, I think. But it's an expansion tape. So what you do is you put it around the window. Within 15 minutes, it expands to this. And it basically covers up all the holes along the window. So you don't have to send a guy here and just, with your phone and miss some holes.
So you wrap the window itself.
Yes, yes. And it's, in a way, it's for us to, make sure there are no human errors. It's not, I don't think it's, completely foolproof. You need to train guys to do it. And with that 15-minute time limit, you have to train them to do it really good and really fast. So what that means is you have quality of work and you have efficiency as well. So I think it's worth it.
Does it help with moisture management too?
It does. It's a tree. It deals with 3 issues. Water. I think it is actually vapor open. It
Bulk
takes
moisture.
exactly bulk moisture. It's also insulation at the same time.